Hello and welcome to Agenda 2030. I am Tony Nkamiang John. In the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, sustainable financing, strategic policies and impact programs are major requirements. Against this background, reinforcing government and stakeholders' commitment towards financing the SDGs in Nigeria has become more expedient. On the program today, we will focus on the efforts by Nigeria to come up with a sustainable financing mechanism tagged Integrated National Financing Framework (NFF) for sustainable development and the outcome of the validation workshop on a 10 years plan for the implementation of the SDGs. To stay with us.
Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, we focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the global development agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
Remember, you can always watch this program and other episodes by subscribing to our YouTube channels on youtube.com/Fresh News TV and youtube.com/Agenda 2030 TV. You can also watch the program live on Facebook. Just log on to www.facebook.com/Fresh News NG and www.facebook.com/Agenda 2030 TV. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Agenda 2030 TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remember to drop your comments and share with your contacts. Do use the hashtag Agenda 2030 and hashtag Agenda 2030 TV. The federal government, through the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, recently brought over 300 stakeholders from civil society organizations, SDGs desk and focal persons, local and international partners together in a physical and visual forum for the validation of Nigeria's Sustainable Development Goals Implementation Plan 2020 to 2030. The implementation plan mirrors the core thematic areas of the Nigeria's new medium-term development plan of 2021 to 2025 and Nigeria's agenda of 2050. The plan, a roadmap for implementation and mainstreaming of the SDGs in Nigeria, identifies additional strategies along core identifiable thematic areas for the achievement of SDGs in Nigeria. It also includes strategies for aligning the SDGs with national priorities, mainstreaming the SDGs into development plans of the national and sub-national government, as well as integration of the global goals into the sectoral policies and plans of ministries, departments and agencies, and the national budget. Specifically, the plan contains strategies for the active involvement of the legislature at national and sub-national levels, the issuance of guidance notes to help the relevant legislative committees in scrutinizing bills, financial reports, and expenditures through an SDGs lens, effective engagement of the legislature with the government, conducting inquiries into SDGs matters of importance to ascertain the progress made in implementation, enhanced communication and financing strategies, aligning the SDGs with national priorities and resource allocation to development priorities. This plan advocates an alignment of the SDGs with national development priorities and also proposes that all states should integrate the SDGs into medium and long-term development plans. It prefers the mainstreaming of the SDGs into the mandate of the MDAs, while also calling for a robust interagency coordination given the interconnectedness of the SDGs.
We aim that the Nigerian National Development Plan will be implementing the SDGs. That is precisely what this plan is all about. And you will not find constant, and that is why we have a dedicated chapter on mainstreaming acceleration, and policy support. That takes us to the M&E framework. The SDG office is not implementing the SDGs. It is the federal ministries, department, and agencies, and the ministries, department, and agencies of the states and their city. So it is a breakaway from the normal Millennium Development Goals implementation. There is debt relief of $1 billion annually to be thrown at the problem. SDGs must be carefully integrated and mainstreamed into our national development planning as well as the subnational development planning.
In her remarks, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Princess Adejoke Orilukwe said the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration recognizes the fact that the SDGs cannot be achieved with standalone policies and programs or projects, hence the need to deliberately integrate the goals and targets into national and subnational policies and development plans as was included in the plan. She added that the process of developing the National SDGs Implementation Plan involved a chronological review of the past, examination of the present, and objective discussion of the future desired by the economy. Hence, she noted that the SDGs Implementation Plan mirrors core thematic areas of the new Nigeria Medium-Term Development Plan of 2021 to 2025 and Nigeria's Agenda 2050.
For validation, which has been chronically review the past of what we have done and to examine the present and to objectively discuss the future in our desire to accelerate the implementation of SDG in Nigeria. Interestingly, the development of this plan coincided with Nigeria's plan to develop a successor development plan to the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, ARGP 2017 to 2020. So more importantly, the SDG implementation plan mirrors the core thematic areas of the new Nigeria Medium-Term Development Plan coming up this year, 2021 to 2025, and Nigeria Agenda 2050. This conceptually approach will ensure adequate mainstreaming, acceleration, and policy support for the SDG at all levels of governance. We are convinced that with the validation of this plan, we have completed the long and meticulous process of institutionalizing the SDG in Nigeria.
On how Nigeria is performing in the implementation of the 2030 Agenda, Princess Orilukwe Adefulire noted that tangible progress was made during the first phase of the implementation of the SDGs in Nigeria, which spanned 2016 to 2020. But overall, the presidential aide said that dwindling financial resources, lack of capacity at the subnational level, persistent insecurity across the country, and COVID-19 pandemic have all combined to slow down progress towards the achievement of the SDGs in Nigeria. She therefore emphasized on the need to tackle the challenges of finance capacity and COVID-19 pandemic to fast-track the achievement of the SDGs in the country.
While modest progress had been achieved during the first phase, the 2016 to 2020, dwindling financial resources, lack of capacity at the sub-national level, persistent insecurity across the country, and the COVID-19 pandemic have all combined to slow down our progress towards the achievement of SDGs, not only in Nigeria, not only in Africa, but all around the world. Going forward, there is urgent need to build back better from COVID-19 setback and to fast-track the achievement of SDG in Nigeria. Let us continue to work closely together to identify areas of partnership and synergies to achieve better outcomes.
Speaking at the event, Acting Secretary of Programs in the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Ahmad Kawu, maintained that in line with the core mandate, the office will continue to provide strategic leadership and guidance, as well as support policies and programs aimed at fast-tracking the achievement of the SDGs in Nigeria. The UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator in Nigeria, Edward Callon, who was represented by Ernest Mutanga, representative of UNICEF, Robert Ndamubisi, and UNDP's Economic Advisor, Amarakun Bandara, were all among the speakers who gave their remarks and commended the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs for its untiring drive to achieve the global goals in Nigeria. They pledged their support for efforts to ensure the success of SDGs in Nigeria.
The SDG implementation plan we are validating today is essentially to help achieve SDGs by 2030 by addressing some of these critical issues. This plan focuses on the governance and institutional frameworks, mainstreaming and acceleration of SDG achievement, including through support to subnational governments, stakeholder engagement for resource mobilization, and communicating messages to the people. Monitoring and reporting will play a key part to review and adjust policy approaches to achieve the SDGs by 2030.
We are very encouraged by the high, strong political will of government of Nigeria to implement, innovative strategy that will move forward Nigeria to achieve SDG for children in Nigeria. We appreciate the good model of institutional framework that you have in place in Nigeria that create a very adequate, enabling environment to make this agenda successful in Nigeria.
Lead consultant Professor Emmanuel Iwodukit presented a 123-page SDGs implementation plan of 2021 to 2023 and progress report made so far to the meeting. During discussions and deliberations at the validation workshop, participants who consisted of civil society groups, the elderly, states focal persons, and other stakeholders made commendations, observations, and recommendations for the successful implementation of the plan. They also called for continued support and mobilization of stakeholders for the actualization of the goals.
I want to urge the OSAPA SDG to develop a national policy on persons with disability in the office. One, using the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Commission Act as a tool.
There's a lot more when you talk about gender mainstream. So we need to revisit the aspect of gender mainstream as a critical part of this document. And then I know that my colleagues also have mentioned 2063. You recall 2063 African document was done in 2013 when the SDGs are not coming to play, attending to Africa's need, the African people. But if we limit ourselves to looking at Africa's issue in Africa's way, we forget that Africa does not work in an isolation. We have to also look at the global environment before we dream enough. If not, we'll be sitting down thinking of only health issues when the global society has gone beyond us.
The implementation plan mirrors the core thematic areas of the Nigeria's new medium-term development plan of 2021-2025 and Nigeria Agenda 2050. The plan was also another evidence of the country's commitment to success of SDGs as the nations across the world accelerate steps to achieve the global goals in the decade of action. So as the decade of action for the global goals begin, Nigeria is adopting a holistic approach to achieve the SDGs, utilizing the validated National Development Planning document as the primary instrument for driving success of the development agenda. As part of its contribution to the effort to accelerate the actualization of Goal 1 of the Sustainable Development Goals, which seeks to eliminate extreme poverty, the Gbajabiamila-led 9th session of the House of Representatives is collaborating with the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs and some members to undertake a need assessment exercise to ascertain the status and condition of IDPs in different parts of the country and to also provide them with relief items. We have a report. It was in a bid to evaluate the extent of the plight of the numerous people displaced from their abode and ultimately taking steps to ameliorate same that the House of Representatives some time ago went into a strategic collaboration with the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. After weeks of painstaking assessment, the team came up with a report of the need assessment that identified some gaps in shelter, food and non-food items, among others, challenges affecting the IDPs in different parts of the country. Subsequently, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs responded aptly to the request of the Speaker of the House of Representatives to alleviate the suffering of these displaced persons by providing and delivering reasonable quantities of food and non-food items to these displaced persons in different constituencies, including those in Ile-Ife. Speaking at the flag-off of the distribution of the relief items to the IDPs, the Federal Commissioner of the NCFRMI, Senator Bashir Garba Muhammad, who was represented by the Commission's Southeast Director, Margaret Ngozi, said due to the high premium placed on the welfare of internally displaced persons by President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, the Commission is ready to contribute its quota, its overall quest by Nigeria to achieve the SDGs while leaving no one behind.
There is no doubt that the federal government, under the dynamic leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, has demonstrated a high level of commitment to the welfare of displaced persons in the country. In this regard, the federal government has empowered our commission and is currently carrying out distribution of items to POCs in many states of the Federation.
Ngozi, who listed some of the relief items to include bags of rice, beans, garri, bottles of palm oil, groundnut oil, semovita, mattresses, mats, blankets, cooking stoves, cooking pots, sewing machines, grinding machines, amongst others, said it will go a long way in addressing the plight of these persons of concern. She enjoined the benefiting IDPs to reciprocate the government's effort by making good use of the items given to them with their families. Represented by his Special Assistant on Humanitarian Affairs, Hamza Baba, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gbajabiamila, said the intervention is in line with the 9th House legislative agenda to contribute meaningfully to the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals by taking necessary steps to ameliorate the plight and needs of the poor and vulnerable mass in the country.
This is in line with the legislative agenda of the Federal House of Representatives under Right Honorable Gbajabiamila. And you know, if you see the Sustainable Development Goals, part of the goals to help people who are in need, especially the extreme poor people
The elated IDPs expressed joy and satisfaction as they penned different messages to the gesture from the federal government.
I am very happy and grateful for what the federal government has brought to us. This intervention reached the villagers, widows, the aged, and children. They gave us so much to eat and drink. They also provided us with beddings to help us deal with displacement.
By the grace of God, we are receiving the relief materials, food items, and all that from the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we are here by the various community, like Hausa community, Igbo, and Yorubas.
We thank the federal government for giving us rice, groundnut oil, palm oil, gari, and beans.
Well, what we are seeing here today in the Palace of Imperial Majesty, the owner of Ife, that we received some goods and items from federal government of Nigeria, and that the FEMA have sent something to free privileged people. But we thank God, we have seen a lot of items they brought into this place. So we thank God for that.
We thank God Almighty for this intervention the federal government has brought to us in Ile-Ife. They gave us food, rice, beans, corn, oil, mattresses. So many things were given to us. We thank them. God bless them.
Other states where this intervention took place include Katsina, Kaoji and Jega in Kebbi State, Mubi in Adamawa, Kaina in Nasarawa, Mbitoli in Imo State, Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State, Dange Shuni and Sabumbini in Sokoto State, Giade Shira in Bauchi State, Guma in Benue State, and many other constituencies across the country. Remember, you can always watch this program and other episodes by subscribing to our YouTube channels on youtube.com/FreshNewsTV and youtube.com/Agenda2030TV. You can also watch the program live on Facebook. Just log on to www.facebook.com/FreshNewsNG and www.facebook.com/Agenda2030TV. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Agenda2030TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remember to drop your comments and share with your contacts. Do use the hashtag Agenda2030 and hashtag Agenda2030TV.
Nigeria will continue to support the United Nations in all its efforts, including the attainment of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I thank you.
Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
We are the SDG champions in Niger State. We support SDG. Join the campaign!
And that's the much we can take on the program this week. Do keep a date with us next week for another insightful episode. I am Tony Nkamiang John. Thank you for staying up.